Hello readers, welcome to another reading workshop. Today we're going to be looking at another comprehension skill, and that is predicting. Predicting should be very familiar. We know that predicting is such a good strategy for readers to help them pay attention to what's going on in the text. And we know that it doesn't just happen at the beginning. It is a bit of a misconception. As a reader, we make predictions constantly as we're reading, as we're presented with new information. We keep predicting what's happening next, what's going to go on next, what information is the author going to give me next. So, to be successful, readers use information from images, texts, and experiences. So that means things that we've gone through in our life can help us make better predictions. And that can help us to predict what we'll read and to actively adjust comprehension while reading. So that just means that we change our predictions. We don't just accept it and go, oh yeah, I was right or I was wrong. We make adjustments and we let it evolve as we're reading. We use context clues, so those really specific pieces of information to that text. It could be an image, it could be a heading, it could be a particular sentence. And we know that good readers keep making predictions and they adjust them throughout the text. So let's have a look at our thinking tool today. So you have three sections or three main parts that you're going to be completing today. So you're going to make a prediction at the beginning of the reading based on all of the context clues. What will the text be about? So think about the heading, the pictures that you can see at the start, maybe the first little paragraph, the first line. You could even scan through the whole text. During reading, my thinking during reading, have I adjusted my prediction based on the new information? So that just means as you're reading and as you're presented with new parts of the text, how can you adjust or evolve your prediction? Does it change? Or maybe your prediction was bang on right from the start. And then at the end, my thinking after I've read, how did my understanding of the text change from the beginning to the end? So think about what sort of things allowed your prediction to change or what made your prediction change. And then now that you've read it, now this is probably my favorite thing to do. Now that you've read the text, what would be the perfect prediction? So let's use a little bit of hindsight here and go back to the start and think, what would be the perfect prediction? So in your task today, you actually have a text that you need to read to help you practice this skill, and then you're going to use the same skill on your own independent text. There's the success criteria that I just read out, but I've actually chosen a text that I use to help model this strategy here. Okay, so here is the text, and I actually looked at the heading and I looked at the picture, and I actually made my first prediction here. So based on the title and the picture, this text might be about Ian Thorpe and what he has achieved in the past, because I actually knew that picture and I knew that was Ian Thorpe. And then I actually kept reading. I read the first bit here and it started to talk about someone else. So I actually added to my prediction and I said it might be about our greatest Olympian and our very first Olympian. So I thought this text might have just been about Flack and Ian Thorpe. And then I actually kept reading and I started evolving my prediction, because not only was it just talking about Ian Thorpe and Flack, it actually introduced some significant female athletes. Okay, and then I kept reading again, and I thought, oh, it's not just talking about them. It's actually talking about and celebrating them, talking about the difficulties that those female athletes had to endure. Okay, so as I was reading, I was presented with more information and I was adding them into my prediction. So you can see there's lots of thinking going on here. It's not just a prediction at the start, it's a prediction as I'm reading. What's going to happen next? Then when I finished the text, I thought about all of the things that my thinking was doing and how it changed and how I needed to adjust it. And I wrote down this. My first thoughts were that this text was just about two athletes, Thorpe and Flack. But as I read, I realised that the text was highlighting a number of different athletes and the difficulties that they faced. So I realised that there's lots of different athletes that they were celebrating in the text, and the common thing was they were talking about all of the hardships that they had to go through to actually get to the Olympics. Okay? And then I thought, all right, what would be the ideal prediction? And this is what I came up with. Some of Australia's most significant athletes and the adversity that they overcame. So I thought that's a really good prediction. Now that I've read it, that would predict what the text is really about. So there you go. Have a go at reading this article in here. I'm not going to give it away, but it's a really interesting article. And then see if you can add your prediction here and watch it evolve as you are reading.